What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Sarah Winstead here, bikini athlete and coach for Pro Physique. And right now I just finished my third day in a row of double cardio. So we are that deep into contest prep, and that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about. Some contest prep realities and kind of, not like negative things about contest prep, but some of the less glamorous things and the tough things, mentally, physically, spiritually, all the things, the tougher parts of contest prep, and how to reframe those kinds of things, especially in regards to your mindset, into challenges, things to overcome, and ways to really improve yourself with this kind of sport, and that's how I attack it as one of the athletes is, this is an opportunity for me to challenge myself mentally, physically, and it's an opportunity for me to grow as an athlete, as a person, especially with regards to my mindset as to what I can do and what I can handle from a sheer, just like life perspective. Because at the end of the day, the discipline required to get up on stage is extraordinary. The sport is not for everybody. And that's also the beauty of it, I feel like, as well. It attracts a certain level of crazy. Because I'm not gonna freely admit I'm crazy, so my husband will tell you, but it's not a bad crazy, it's a good crazy, as far as like sinking your teeth into something, devoting yourself. I heard somebody call it on a podcast like a no compromise goal, where you're just like waking up every day, blinders are on, and you're shooting for something that is very much extreme, but it's a challenge, it's for something positive within yourself, and it lights that fire of your inner athlete. And so I'm going to sit down with you guys probably tomorrow, and talk more about some contest prep reality stuff that I try to express to my clients, especially my first time competitors, and set them up for success and help prepare them. I mean, nothing really prepares you for how I'm feeling right now. But, just laying some cool things about contest prep, not so glamorous things about contest prep, the reality of it, not really sugarcoating it, because a lot of us on Instagram, we see the glitz and the glam of show day, and that's just one day. That's one day. I've been in prep since December. I've had a lot of one days, and for me, it's a mile marker as far as improving myself and my structure as an athlete, and showing off my hard work to myself, to my family, to my clients, to everybody out there who's supporting me, and I appreciate your support. But it's a mile marker for me. We're not done after this show, after this year, or anything like that. And that's the coolest part of bodybuilding, in my opinion. So I'm gonna wrap up this clip here. I'm gonna go home and relax, because it's been a long 3 days in a row of this double cardio. But I will catch you guys tomorrow on rest day. Hello everyone, happy Monday, happy rest day. We made it through 3 days in a row of a double cardio. And so today I only had 30 minutes that I moved from tomorrow, because we have cleaners, therapy, all those kinds of things tomorrow. And so moved that to today. So that is done. And I told you guys that we would be on the floor at some point, and here we are. I wanted to dive deeper into some of the realities of contest prep. Now, these are some things you can notice at certain points in contest prep, and everyone is different with how their body reacts, how they experience them. This is what my own experience has been, as well as my clients' experiences as well. And so I encourage you guys, each point that I'm going to go through, I'm going to talk about the reality. It's a negative reality, let's be honest. It's not a fun reality at certain points, but then I'm going to turn it on its head. I'm going to challenge you guys to reframe those into positive challenges for yourself. That's how I look at contest prep. It is a positive challenge for me on so many different levels. My why is bigger than a trophy or a placing. It's more about me beating my physique, improving my overall density, my shape, my balance, fitting the division better and better every single year. And that's my goal as an athlete, as a competitor. So diving in, quick little coffee sip. So one of the first things I want to talk about is energy, tiredness, exhaustion, fatigue, whatever word you want to put on it. It's going to happen at some point in contest prep. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel tired all the time. And so there are going to be peaks and valleys as far as like when you do have caffeine, when you do work out right after you eat a meal, you feel really good, but that's going to go away pretty quickly. deeper that you get in contest prep. And so, like for me, for example, I got 8 hours of sleep last night. It is rest day, and I woke up this morning and I was like, body feels heavy. Did I even sleep? At a certain point in contest prep, sleep is going to take a turn as far as sleep quality. And that's important to look at just because, you know, we need to manage sleep as best that we can. We need to manage our energy throughout the day as best that we can. And that is honestly a positive thing because it forces you to plan and manage your day probably a little bit better than you might have been in improvement season. And so being more organized, planning ahead, looking at your day and seeing when you need the most amount of energy and putting your efforts there. So for me, that looks like I have my biggest meal post-training. I have some coffee. That means I can knock out like my highest priority things, which for me are things like check-ins, YouTube, client inquiry calls, all those kinds of things I try to knock out in the morning if I can, and then I save minimal things for the afternoon. I do take core burn in the afternoons to help me get through a couple more client calls, maybe a lagging client check-in here or there, and then of course my afternoon cardio or a walk with Una, things like that. That's how I manage my energy throughout the day. Taking rest days seriously. Yes, I did cardio today, but I'm not moving. Clearly not moving as much for the rest of the day and still keeping my general step count low, but I'm still forcing my body to move around, to have this NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. When you get deeper in prep, not just the fatigue or energy, your body wants to be, as my husband called it, a statue. Like literally sit there and be like, I don't want to move. And so I look at that as a challenge to push through that, to push through the discomfort as far as like my limbs feeling heavy and like, oh God, it's taking so much energy to like grab the remote off the couch or go walk down to the mailbox and get the mail. Stuff that I didn't even think about during improvement season. I'm now having to really push through this deep into contest prep. And so recognizing that, learning about when that will hit you, I think will help you guys manage the energy. And obviously, yes, I do it through caffeine, and I do it through also food. Like I'll pose for me because posing is very tiring for me. I'll pose immediately after lunch if I can, but I don't have any calls immediately after lunch. That way I know I have good energy. It'll be a good session and things like that as well. And again, just managing and planning. It's a lot of that deep into contest prep. And as far as like looking at your day, some of us don't have this luxury as far as like having kids, needing to be on, picking them up later nights, earlier mornings and things like that. But I encourage you guys just looking ahead, planning it out, thinking, what am I doing the next hour? What am I doing the next 2 hours? Right now, I'm filming YouTube. The next hour, I'm going to be doing client check-ins. And then after that, we'll see. So, but also like, I know what I'm doing the rest of the day. I'm posing, I'm eating lunch, I'm taking, my afternoon steps, and then I'm going to play with Una and have some fun with her too. The next thing is going to be brain fog. Now, this is something that will hit you, again, various times during contest prep, various days. You may have days where you don't feel this at all. You may have some days where you feel it all damn day and you're like, I cannot complete a sentence. Why did I walk into this room? And I'll give you a super fun example of this as far as like how brain fog affected me. So I make my cream of rice. If you guys watch my videos, you know I love my chocolate brownie cream of rice. I don't like it like piping hot, burn my mouth. And so I put it into my freezer while I'm doing other things, like making my pre-workout snack, making my pre-workout drink. I'll put it in the freezer while I'm doing those things, and then I will take it out before I go to the gym and put it in the fridge. That way it's nice and perfect when I get back. Well, prep brain fog, forgot it. Literally walked out, didn't even think, didn't even remember that he was even in the freezer until I got back and I saw the Tupperware top on the top of the actual counter, and I was like, I left it in the freezer. It's frozen solid. Just frozen solid. And so, non-issue at this point. I was a little bit miffed in the moment because I was just like, damn it. Okay, now I got defrosted. There's defrosted in the microwave. Let's defrost it. Let's get it back in the fridge. And but I was just like, oh, I look forward to this meal. It's almost like when you like let your rice or oatmeal like boil over, you're just like, well, I was looking forward to that. So not the most ideal thing or like extreme example, but an example of just like how commonplace things you will forget. And so the second example of this I have is, I think it was the same day, honestly. I went to the grocery store And I went inside, and I think I was so focused, because of brain fog, you can focus on about one thing at a time, maybe a half thing. I was so focused on getting my cream of rice out of the freezer into the defrost to you know, make it better. I completely forgot my groceries that were in the car. They sat there for like an hour. Luckily, I didn't have anything like eggs or like milk or anything like that. Had to actually go into the refrigerator relatively quickly, but still. I walked back downstairs after my shower, and I was like, I left my groceries in the damn back of my car. Did that. So brain fog, it's a real thing. But how to positively spin on it. Again, organization, planning, those kinds of things. But also I've learned anytime I think of something that I need to do like later on, or I don't want to forget, I'm going to forget it. Take out my phone, send myself an email. Or I take out my phone, switch it to notes, and I put it in a running note that I have for myself as far as like, what do I need at the grocery store? You know, or if like my husband tells me something, oh, don't forget, we got to go get this later, or do this later, or do this, or something like that. I have a huge list of things behind me as well on this whiteboard that I've got to get done that I think of, and I just write it down really quickly. And so prep brain will force you to do those kinds of things. But there will be a certain point where you're just like, I don't know what I was just thinking about. It happens. Next one, feeling small. These feelings of feeling small, feeling tiny. And so I am 5'1". Like there's not a lot of me. But people at the gym, and I'll get to comments later, may start to realize, or you may yourself at some point start to feel small or feel tiny. Because when we lose body fat off of ourselves, body fat takes up a whole lot more space than muscle mass does, about 1/3. And so with that, we may realize, oh crap, I'm a lot smaller when I just have muscle mass and a little bit of body fat on my body than I did when I was, 10, 15, 20 pounds heavier in improvement season. It's natural to feel that way. You look at yourself in the mirror every single day. And so when I do that, I had a feeling of this past week, and I was like, oh, I feel small. I feel tiny. Holy shit. Especially when you wake up first thing in the morning and you're flat and you don't have a pump in the gym, you feel like, do I even lift, bro? Like literally had those feelings. And so allow yourself to feel those feelings. It's human. It's going to happen. But don't give them power. Don't be like, oh, I'm just going to go like die now, because of this. Don't let it ruin your day. Don't let it have any bearing. Have a thought. That's fine. But don't give it any power. Flip it on its head. I am tiny but mighty. I am strong. I am still strong. I'm still able to overhead press the 45s over my head. I'm still able to see the muscle density that I've built now that I've put the work in over these past couple of years. Being proud of that, being proud of the muscle mass and the shape and the physique that you have, because this is the result of your hard work. And so not looking at it as tiny or small, looking at it as I am mighty and strong. So positive mantras, very important. Strength declines. This kind of goes along with the feelings of feeling small, as far as like you were able to get X number of weight, like maybe you're able to get 10 or 12 pull-ups in improvement season, and when you're in contest prep, that number drops to like 8. For me with the 45s, I used to be able to get 50s over my head. That absolute strength is gone, as far as like just the availability for you. And so brain fog. I had 2 competing thoughts in my brain. But yes, the strength will decline. So right now I used to be able to get 50s for about 5 to 8 reps, depending on the day. I can get 45s for about that same amount. I just can't get the 50s anymore. And so at a certain point, your body's not going to and it's not prioritizing building muscle mass. It is prioritizing maintaining, but it's also prioritizing keeping you alive. It doesn't care that you're getting on a bodybuilding stage. It cares about keeping you alive. That's what it's prioritizing. And so it will manage, it will adapt over time. Same thing with your brain, with the brain fog, because your brain likes carbohydrates for the energy for brain function, and it will pull that when it needs to. And so your body adapts. But hype for the workouts, hype for the grind, get some good music going. If you're like sitting in your car looking at the gym, like, I feel like shit, I don't want to do this. Allow yourself again. It's okay. Say it out loud. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. As long as you don't go home or like let that ruin your workout or anything like that, or just give it power over you, don't act on it, then you're fine. I would just say hype music really, really, really works. I put on some old school like EDM hype music in my car yesterday to get me hyped for round 2 of cardio, because that was like a lot. And I did that, and I had my caffeine, I had my burn, I had someone to look forward to. Even looking at your logbook can be helpful, as far as like focusing on one lift that you want to do really, really good in that day. Go for it. Challenge yourself. That gets you hyped for that lift when you don't have the energy to get out of your car. And so it happens, guys. Cardio is a lot of time. Okay, that's the next one here. It's going to be a lot of your day. Planning, organizing, making it happen. I originally had 120 minutes tomorrow. I did 30 of that today because I have things like cleaners and therapy tomorrow that I just don't have the room, honestly, the hours in the day to get it done tomorrow. Cardio is a lot. I heard some of my clients already tell me, oh wow, this is a lot. I'm bored. What do I do at this time? Well, incline walking, yeah, it can be very boring sometimes. And so what I focus on sometimes is I'll do some mental visualizations of my contest prep routine with some fun music in the background, as far as visualizing me walking out there, being powerful, bracing my core. It can help you to actually brace your core while you're doing cardio. Standing up straight, having good posture while you're doing cardio, always a good thing. But I'll do that. I'll also watch some YouTube videos, other competitors. I will not watch full days of eating because that's just a recipe for disaster for my mindset. I'll listen to podcasts. I'm really into podcasts right now, as far as like things where I can kind of get the creativity juices flowing. I'll also work on like Instagram captions, things like that when I have more of that blood flow to my brain. And then even TV shows. Like in 2020, I watched the full series of Gossip Girl. I had just restarted that this time in season 1 right now, and I'm just like, ooh, I missed the show. It's something mindless to have on that you can look at. It makes the time go by faster. And even occasionally my husband will call me when I'm doing cardio, when he knows I'm doing cardio, and he'll just kind of help me through it. So it's always good to have that kind of stuff in mind, to kind of look forward to cardio, to see, okay, what can I get done, what can I accomplish, what's going to help the time go by faster, and then before you know it, it's done. So if I'm looking off to the side, I'm looking at my notes because, again, brain fog, prep, I gotta have notes. Comments from people. So these can be both positive, supportive comments, appreciative comments. I even had a random gym bro come up to me yesterday during my cardio saying, hey, when's your show? And I'm just like, well, we're lean. People are randomly saying, oh, when's your show? But comments from people could be very positive and appreciative and supportive. I love those kinds of comments because it shows that they're in this with you. They're part of your community and they're supporting what you're doing. Friends, family, whatever. There also can be comments, negative ones, from people that will say things like, oh, why don't you go eat a cheeseburger? Or when you post something on social media, they could have comments about it, as far as like, oh, you look emaciated, or you don't look healthy, or anything, or where's your thickness, or something like that. Like, people can say all sorts of crap, and that's exactly what it is. It's crap. They're allowed to have an opinion, but look at where it's coming from. Do not give it power over you, and then have a positive reframe for yourself inside your brain, as far as like looking at where it's coming from. Random people at the gym, okay, cool, whatever. The only opinion for me that matters is my coach and those judges. Even myself, like, I don't trust myself in my opinion right now. So look at where it's coming from. Do not give them power. Okay. Do not start the war with the comments. Do not have an abrasive comment back to them, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for fuel. They're looking for fire. They're looking for a rise out of you, because they may not be happy with what they're doing in their life, and they're reaching out and attacking you to give them that satisfaction that they're looking for in their own lives. And so don't give it power. And so one of my clients had an issue with this. The family member come up to them and literally saying to them, oh, you're going to eat that? And I told them, yeah, look back at them and say, yeah, that's all you got to do. That's all I got to say. Don't give it power. Don't let them win, because their opinions are just that. They're opinions. They're allowed to have them. It's fine, but don't let it have power over you or your day or get in your brain or anything like that. They have no control. So do not give them that control. Do not give it by giving back to them or anything like that. Just say, yeah. I do the same thing if people have a comment that I may not know very well at like a party or a gathering, whether or not I'm in prep or improvement season, the comments still could be the same, as far as like, you gonna eat that? And I'm like, yeah, it's a non-issue at that point. So don't give them power. Don't let it have power over you and your day. And then positively reframe and be like, hey, look, what I'm doing is working. What I'm doing, and being proud of your progress and investing in your journey, that's more so what you can control. And you can't control what people say. You just can't. Doubts. This kind of goes into controlling what you can control and believing in yourself. We're going to have doubts. I've had doubts last week as far as like, am I going to be ready? you know? And just thinking about, do I have enough muscle mass? Am I lean enough? You know, is my posing going to be there? Is my suit going to break? Am I going to fall down on stage? Am I going to wobble? Am I going to, you know, whatever it is that can possibly creep into your brain, it's okay to have those doubts. It's gonna happen. But as long as, again, you don't give it power, you don't act on those kinds of things, and you don't let it ruin your entire day or your mindset, then it's okay, you know, to have them on occasion. So as far as like doubts of like not being ready, I transitioned that into a positive mantra of I am ready. I am strong. And for posing, I'm a badass. Like I literally say that sometimes to myself before I go out and walk in front of the middle of the gym in my heels and pose in front of people that I don't even know. And I'm gonna help my stage right. And so positive reframes for every single one of your doubts, as far as like, I'm not ready, I will be ready, or I am ready. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, fall down on stage. I'm like, no, I'm a badass in my heels. I am strong, I am confident, and I'm gonna go out there and freaking kill it. Like, I'm excited. You know, those kinds of things can help combat the doubt that you're feeling inside, and trusting and yourself and your work, not so much the process, but trusting your work and your effort level. Because if you wake up every single day and give 110% effort into a contest prep, that is what you're going to get out of it, is that 110%. So that's why belief. It's still one of my words up there, as far as even I'm working on that, as far as like believing in myself and trusting myself and my body and my package and my posing and all those kind of things. It's going to be there. And if it's not, that's okay. There's more shows. There's more time to improve. This sport is bodybuilding for a reason. And that's honestly one of the best things about it. All right, last one. Food focus. This is high in contest prep. Right now, one of my favorite commercials to watch on the cardio machine is when the Panera toasted baguettes comes on. I'm like, oh, I miss bread. Like, you know, it's not even like the crumble cookie commercials or like the ice cream. I don't really care. I just miss bread. So, but food focus can become a little bit higher in contest prep, as far as like you could find yourself, because you are hungry. That's another reality that I really didn't dive into, but I feel like that's a given. And I do have a separate video on managing hunger, but you will be hungry after your meals, and you might be counting the hours or the minutes until your next one. You could be affected by food accounts on Instagram, or your friends sharing those kinds of things on your stories. You know, you heard me say earlier, I stay away from full days of eating during contest prep, because I'm like, I'm not going to set myself up for that negative environment. Why? Just because I'm going to be even more hungry after watching that, you know. And I also, this is a big one, I do not encourage my clients to hoard or buy those massive cookie, sandwich, brownie treat things that companies are now catering towards bodybuilders for post-show. Don't keep them in your freezer. Don't have them around, because I guarantee you it's going to make your prep harder, because you're going to have to open the freezer to get out ice or whatever it is on the daily, or your frozen fruit for your smoothie, and you're going to have to look at that every single day. And yes, it can be a test of discipline if you choose to look at it that way, but it also can be, for 90% of the people out there, really hard. And you could be counting the days until you can have that huge freaking cookie or thing like that, like, you know, and you think that you're going to be able to have the discipline to eat just like a serving of it or one bite of it. I guarantee you it's not going to happen. It's not. You are not going to have the self-control. If you do, that's fantastic. More power to you. But not a lot of us can do that. And so I don't encourage that, because that only increases your food focus in that moment and makes prep so much harder. So how to combat that, how to twist this, make this positive. I enjoy my foods. I do. I enjoy every single thing that I'm eating right now. I enjoy my egg whites, my cream of rice, my rice cakes, my strawberries, my smoothie, even my big bowls that I've been creating that are so nice and warm and full of nutrients. I just love them. You know, I enjoy all my food. There's not one food in there that I look at and be like, ew, I don't want to eat that. If I was on a meal plan, then yeah, I know I don't do well with meal plans. So that's why I enjoy flexible dieting and macronutrient-based dieting. So filling your day with foods that you do enjoy, and keeping one or two things in there. You guys have seen a full day of eating from me. I still keep in my chocolate hazelnut almond butter My rice cakes and strawberries are awesome. And then I love my smoothie. And so that makes for me, my food focus a whole lot less, that I can, yes, be around other people and be around other foods without having it affect my mindset or being like, I want that, I want that, I want that. Of course I want it. But again, I'm not giving it power over me and I'm not acting on it. I'm just respecting the fact that it's over there. It's always going to be there, and it'll be there later if I do want it later. And if I don't want it later, that's okay. So that's going to take care of it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful as far as like some of the realities of contest prep and how to put a positive and challenging spin on it, because that's all what this is about. My mantra is challenge yourself every single day. And so that's how I look at contest prep. That's how I look at all of these realities that I kind of went through today as a challenge for me. And I know that it's making me a better person, a better athlete, and a better competitor. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.